Right now, someone on your remote team is logged into Teams, their green dot is showing and their status says available. And they haven't done a single productive thing in 3 hours. You know it, I know it. Here's the question that's keeping managers up at night. What the hell do we do about this? Because remote working is not going away. It's here to stay. Now what do you do, right? Do you install monitoring software that takes screenshots every 5 minutes? Do you track their keystrokes? Do you check their websites and what websites they're visiting? Because the thing that nobody tells you is this, right? The moment you do any of that stuff, you don't just interrogate their privacy, you lose their trust. And once that's gone, the best people in your organization pack up and leave. Now give me a few minutes, right? Because over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to manage remote employees, get full visibility into what's actually happening across your team, and you're going to be able to do it without becoming the manager that everyone's quietly updating their CV about because they want to escape him. Now, not only am I going to break down how to manage these employees, but I'm also going to give you a 3-step approach to implementing this as well. So I'm going to share that a little bit later on. Stick around. You want to see that 3-step approach. Now, let's be honest about why this is happening in the first place, right? Remote work changed everything. Pre-2020, you could walk the floor, you could see who was at their desk, who was in a meeting, who was doing absolutely nothing, checking out YouTube or, swiping Tinder. You had visibility, right? Even if that visibility was just an illusion. Now, all of that has completely gone. In its place is organizations that have done one of two things. Option one, they've trusted their teams completely, set no clear expectations, and ended up with a handful of people absolutely milking the system, which, by the way, Reddit managers are absolutely furious about. Option two, they've swung to the complete opposite extreme. They screenshot everything. They check your mouse movement monitoring. They check your keystroke logging, what websites you visited, how long you've spent in idle position, and they've gone the complete opposite end of the spectrum. And the research on option two is damning, right? The people who feel most watched, most surveilled even, if even that's a word, I'm not too sure. But anyway, they're not the ones that are underperforming. They're the best people. They're the ones who have options. And the moment they feel like they're not being trusted, they exercise those options because they can, basically. Meanwhile, your underperformance, they've figured out how to game the system by day 3. Move the mouse every few minutes. Keep a YouTube video running in the background to show that you're active. Keep the green dot showing. So the surveillance doesn't catch the people that you're worried about. It drives those people away. That's not management. That's basically firefighting, and it's costing you time, money, and it costs you your reputation as an organization and as a leader. Now, here's the reality most organizations face. When they implement remote monitoring, they make 3 critical mistakes, and I see these 3 constantly. Mistake number 1, monitor activity instead of outcomes. This is the big one. It's the big one that this video covered here. Go check that out. We talk about activity. But what they do here is they track how long someone is active on their computer. But active doing what exactly? 8 hours of mouse movement doesn't mean 8 hours of value delivered. I've seen people produce more genuine output in 3 focused hours than others do on a full tracked day. If you're measuring inputs, you're measuring the wrong thing. Mistake number 2 is they use the wrong tools for the wrong problem. There's a difference between basically collaboration visibility, knowing where a project stands, who owns what, what's blocked, and surveillance, frankly. Most organizations that jump straight into screenshot monitoring, they haven't asked the first question. Do we actually have a clear plan on deliverables? If your team doesn't know what success looks like on Monday morning, then frankly, no amount of screenshots is going to fix that because they don't know what success looks like. Mistake number 3 is this one then. There is no policy transparency. And here's the legal and the ethical minefield that people find themselves in. A lot of organizations walk into this without even realizing it's there. If you're monitoring employees, their screens, their screenshots, their keystrokes, their browsing, and you haven't explicitly told them that in writing, you're potentially in violation of GDPR here in the UK and other legislation in other regions. And beyond legality, if your team finds out that you've been watching them without telling them, you haven't just lost their trust, you've completely lost them. They're out. Just wait for the resignation letter to come through your door. So, screenshot monitoring doesn't work. If keystroke tracking drives your best people out the door, if surveillance creates the exact opposite of accountability, then what does work, right? Because there's a fine balance between all of this. Here is the answer. And organizations that have got this right aren't doing less management, they're doing better management with better tools. And that's exactly what these next couple of minutes are all about. Now, the truth is, the question was never, how do I see my remote employees and what they're doing? The right question is, how do I know whether my remote employees are delivering what I actually need? That's a fundamentally different question, and it has a fundamentally different answer when you break it down, right? Now, here's the framework. It's 3 layers. Layer number 1, clear deliverables, not vague expectations. I mentioned it about the Monday morning thing earlier. Before you think about any tool, any software, any monitoring, every single person on your remote team needs to know in writing what done looks like. Not work on a client proposal. Done looks like first draft of the client proposal reviewed internally, ready for final sign off by Thursday at 5 p.m. Specific, measurable, time bound. If you don't have this, then you don't have a monitoring problem, you've got a management clarity problem. Layer number 2 is structured visibility checkpoints. This is not micromanagement. This is a rhythm, a quick daily sync, an update on Teams quickly, or a project tool that you've got within your business. What did you complete? What's next? Is there anything blocked? A little weekly one-to-one that is genuinely about the person, not about some to-do list. A fortnightly team review about project progress against deliverables. That's all been set from layer 1, by the way. So these 2 interlink. That's what success looks like in this bit. There's no more chasing here. There's no more surprises because the information is built into the workflow. It's proactive. It's not reactive. Now, before I give you the 3rd layer, I go into finer detail on all this stuff in my newsletters. I've stuck a link in the description below if you want to subscribe. I send 1 email a week breaking down all of the latest workplace productivity tips, news, anything that's working in the industry now. So go check that out. You get an email every week, and you learn about all of this stuff every week. Now, the 3rd layer is this: the right collaboration technology. And this is where I see the biggest gap in most organizations. Because you can have perfect deliverables, perfect check-in rhythm, and still have a team that's grinding against broken meeting room technology solutions, unreliable video calls, collaboration tools that aren't integrated properly. Your remote employees aren't just working from a laptop. They're connecting into your physical meeting rooms, your AV infrastructure, your Teams or Zoom environment. And if that infrastructure is unreliable, if meetings keep dropping, if your audio is terrible, if they can't see the whiteboard, your team isn't just disengaged, they're completely switched off. They're dealing with technology that's working against them, and that's not their problem. That's not a people problem, that's a technology problem. And honestly, it's a really easy fix. It's a fixable problem. Yes, all right, granted, people will look at this and say that I'm biased because I own an AV company, but I can't stress enough the importance of making sure that your video conferencing technology is deployed correctly first time and it works all the time. So let's talk about the tools then, right? What tools should you actually be using to manage remote employees effectively? Let me give you 3 very specific categories. 1, project and task visibility tools, not monitoring software, project management software. Look at Microsoft Planner, decent tool, integrated directly into Teams. Gives your whole team a shared view of what's owned, what's in progress, what's done. Everybody sees it. There's no chasing, there's no status meetings that last 45 minutes, which are completely pointless. Check out this video here where I talk about pointless meetings. And frankly, as a manager, you have full visibility of watching everybody's status and that with regards to the project. Number 2, an in-sync communication structure. Teams channels used properly with clear naming convention, clear ownership, and a culture of updating. This is your real-time visibility. When someone posts proposal draft complete, shared it in SharePoint, that's your output confirmation. You don't need a screenshot. You don't need to monitor anything. That's your output confirmation. Number 3 then is your collaboration infrastructure. This is the one that gets overlooked. I mentioned it a few minutes ago, but this is absolutely critical. If your remote employees are dialing into meeting rooms that have absolutely shoddy AV, cameras that aren't positioned correctly, microphones that drop in and out, the meeting experience for those guys is so frustrating that people just completely disengage. Not because they don't want to be present, but it's because the technology is making it absolutely impossible to participate. It's what I wrote the book about. The book is upcoming. Work Isn't Working is what it's called. It gives a clear 5-step framework for deploying suitable AV technology within your workplace. The release date for that book is with the publishers at the moment, but I've stuck a little link in the description below. You can sign up for the wait list. As soon as the release date is provided to me, I'll let you know what that release date is. I'll give you a 20% discount if you sign up for the wait list below. Now, getting your meeting room technology right, managed, monitored proactively with firmware up to date and full AV IT integration, that's what keeps remote employees genuinely connected. Not surveillance, infrastructure. So here's where I'll leave you. The organizations that manage remote teams well aren't the ones watching their employees the hardest. They're the ones that have got they've built the clearest expectations, the most reliable collaboration infrastructure, and the strongest rhythm of genuine visibility with smart goals and productive output, which is provided through the planners, right? It's proactive stuff, it's not reactive stuff, and it works, right? Whether you've got 5 remote employees or 500 across multiple sites in multiple countries, if you've got a remote or hybrid team and you're still firefighting with nuclear deliverables, unreliable meeting rooms, or collaboration tools that aren't properly integrated, that's exactly what we help organizations solve. Now, if there's anything you want me to add further on the context of this, then comment below. I'll reply as soon as I can. If you've got any comments, stick it in there. I'll reply as soon as I can. If you like this video, then go check this one out, because honestly, it's a banger. Go see it over here.